Hi, I'm Peggy on Salz here at Mobile Growth Summit, and we have Wilson Kriegel from HrtBeat Audio. And if you have been listening often, and you should be, you will also know him from PixArt because he spoke at one of our summits, and he's back again, faithful. PixArt is also doing really well. We'll get to your other gig in a moment, but PixArt surpassing another milestone. Tell me about it.
Yeah, the company's had a phenomenal year. We've reached 600 million users globally at this point. Organically, so it's fairly unique. Outside of China, we're probably the 25 largest app in the world. Wow. China is its own market, but it's done fantastically well. We have over 80 million monthly creators on the platform, over 100 million creators in total who come monthly basis and produce a tremendous amount of content. The collaboration, the community, complemented with really best-in-class software for creators, has made a huge difference. And with actually the emergence of platforms like TikTok and others, we've seen a great surge of people wanting to create and customize and create uniqueness around their content. And so we have actually a lot of users from other platforms like Instagram or TikTok who come to us where the story begins and they start creating from there to then bring back and differentiate their followers.
To look good. It makes absolute sense.
Yeah, so it's been great. We've reached 300 employees in 5 offices around the world. We have offices in Beijing and in Tokyo, in LA, San Francisco, and in Europe. And so it's been a great year. We're profitable, and we actually pivoted our business model as well. We went from advertising and microcurrency, microtransactions to advertising and subscription.
I was going to ask you about that because we were talking about subscription last year as well. And how did you get all those users again? You also had a way where it was so much word of mouth, so much passion.
Yeah,
that paid marketing didn't have to be a big item.
No, we only just started that now that we're quite profitable and we have a subscription model. Okay. Then you have the ability to grow organically and then complement that with acquisition costs that goes directly into paying users. So we, as we mentioned last time, we started subscription, I think in Q1, late Q1 of last year, 2008. And it took quite a bit to iterate, were we doing monthly, were we doing yearly, was it just software, was it content? And there's a lot of tweaking that needs to happen and A/B testing. And then if you take the landscape of the geos, as we're very global, APAC being very large, China, Europe, we had to adjust the value proposition, adjust the pricing. And then ultimately, we're now, in our category, the highest grossing subscription app in the market.
What about the price? I'm just curious because I did a lot of research into subscription apps, and it was always the thing about the pricing has to be right, but a lot of app companies underestimate what they can ask, and they think they have to be super cheap, where they don't. So
no, I think the most important thing is to try to understand price elasticity as it relates to your core users in particular. What you don't want to do is alienate the users who are coming back multiple times a day or a week and producing a lot of content and who now feel that they're unable to create that content because you put some walls there. Right. At the same time, what you learn really quickly is you can fine-tune the value proposition and the offering through those core users, but you will see higher conversion rates of new users coming in because that's their first time experience. And if they want video editing, if they want new filters, if they want new capacities around the software, removing ads, they'll actually have a higher propensity to want to get the best of the product out of the gate. Whereas older users who have learned to grow through the entire product also know what they want, what they need exactly, and their use case. And so they're much more picky to how they use the product and whether or not they should be paying.
So how do you actually harness that? Because they know what they want, they're passionate. You're passionate about your company. We'll get to your other gig in a moment.
Sure.
But you can take that into consideration and you can really harness that for advocacy if you really know how to do it. Have you been looking at how to take that interest and make it sort of like a user-led or that type of democratizing the tools, democratizing the innovation, keeping them more the product as opposed to maybe just being users?
Yeah, so the majority of our users are creators, so we always focus our formula. It's not necessarily about time spent as it would be on Facebook, as much as amount of content created per user. And so we're much more focused on ensuring that people who come on board get excited very quickly about their ability to create amazing content. And so whether we're enabling through automation or AI tools or the ability to replicate somebody else's image through basically showcasing how they got to that content. We're also able to use AI to screen for what's most popular in terms of content creation. And then we can curate that content in the community and introduce people to others who have become very successful as creators.
Okay.
So moderation becomes very important. The community and the editorial group becomes very important. And through the hashtags and the curation of the platform, we're able to then take angles to how we introduce people either to the subscription model or to how they can become
So more like
aware on the platform.
customizing the advertising to them as well, because you're understanding like how they came in and what they're looking for. What about the channels that work for this? Because now you're doing paid promotion. I would just assume as a layman that it's got to be something around content marketing because it's content creators, but maybe you're using something else.
So where we found tremendous success is about a year and a half ago, I opened an office in LA and we started working with UTA, the agency, and getting closer to creators, artists, designers, brands. Because we had so many creators,
brands, that would make sense.
because we had so many creators, we saw there was a unique opportunity through the challenges that we offer, where people can participate in contests and challenges, and then those can be discovered on the platform, and then they can be shared externally, that we were a tremendous platform for media proliferation. And so if you have a challenge with Gwen Stefani, which we had recently on the platform officially, for one of her newer song releases, and you can get 50,000 participants to create several million unique IP assets, who then become hundreds of millions of view impressions through the web and through the internet and through mobile. And you can track all that for Gwen Stefani. You've created something very powerful for her, but also for the community of followers that love her, as well as creators who are being discovered. So the tools morph themselves into a social experience as well as marketing capacity, both for the creators as well as for our partners. And what we found through that is discovery then through search engine, through Facebook targeting, through word of mouth, through forums and other kind of sharing of the content to other social platforms that we can track through deep links and hashtags, creates even more virality. And so instead of moving a model towards, hey, let's get these people to pay, let's get Nike to pay, let's get Gwen Stefani to pay, we actually are just working more closely with multiple levels of brands and artists to get them on the platform, to see the power of the platform, see the power of the creator, and then actually leverage that into both virality as well as direct marketing.
I'll take a break to turn off my phone because I know it's pinging. Sorry about that. I love what you're talking about. Can you tell me then? This is very different. This is not a specific channel. This is not paid acquisition. I go on Facebook or I do Google, right? So let me just, you ready? So I mean, what's interesting about this is a more inclusive approach, because normally paid marketing was like, okay, I like this channel, I like that channel, I'll check out Pinterest, all of that. It probably works beautifully for you in performance marketing, but you have a very different approach. It's like a mashup of performance marketing, brand marketing. Probably we don't have a name for it. Maybe you have a name for it, Wilson.
I'm sure
your secret formula.
Tammy, who's now kind of leading all of marketing and many aspects of the company I was running, is doing an amazing job. She probably has a name for it that would sound better than mine.
Mashup, though.
Yeah, she's done a tremendous job there. I think we really understood the impact that these brands and these use cases had on the creators. And the ability to kind of engage in socially relevant content that people either as a creator or as a fan could get really excited about. When the Marvel movie came out, there was a tremendous amount of surge around the moment where they're all kind of evaporating and dissipating. And we have actually a tool already in place that creates that with one click. And so in China, circumstantially, they have a huge follower base, Marvel does. And one of a big Weibo blogger used our tool and started creating memes around that. And we had a surge of multiple millions of MAUs in just a month off of people who follow that person who started using that tool. And then everybody realized that with one tool, they can recreate that moment of the movie across a variety of content. And so you stem from software, influencer, a unique social moment of a movie that's very brand powerful, an easy to use use case that then proliferates to millions and millions of different use cases that proliferate across the web and the internet. And then what you do behind that is you engage that creator, you engage that community. You try to drive them back to see all the other opportunities on the platform or why they should have a profile, how they can use the tools, and then you do marketing and media behind it. And so you're not basically shooting darts in the ocean as much as you're trying to cannibalize where the momentum is going and where these channels are, and see where the users are taking the platform, how the users are using the tools, and then working with them either proactively, directly, or in the concept of kind of amplifying that use case. And showcasing it and kind of getting other people excited about it. And that creates a K factor against any media buy as well as just virality. It's tremendous.
I was going to say, you really have something there, and I'm going to keep you to your word. We've talked before about getting you on mobile growth, maybe as some content, sharing this formula. You're talking about how you're excited about the results there, but then I'm excited about also HrtBeat Audio. So what is that?
Yeah, 5 years at Pixar have been amazing with the management team and its founders. About 5-6 months ago, I was introduced to a prototype of a product that a friend of mine dropped in front of me and said, "You're going to be CEO of this company." There was really no plan for that at that moment. I took it out, and it was basically a wearable Bluetooth audio speaker. And I'm actually wearing it on me, and it's very simple.
Okay.
There's a remote control here that allows you to connect to your phone, and then you have your wearable speakers that project upwards, allowing you to have surround sound as well as your own experience of your content. Connecting to any formats of content on your smartphone, including your phone calls coming in, because there's a microphone in here. And so I took that, I went on an adventure with it. I was backcountry hiking in Jasper during the winter, and I really fell in love with the ability to be hands-free and still have that experience of sound while being within my environment. For safety purposes, obviously it's extremely important, but also just the overall experience, kind of the vibrations of the speakers on me and the ease and the comfort of use. Versus headphones that can get heavy after hours and hours. And I thought it was very unique and interesting. I then went and kind of did my analyst research, market evaluation of competitors and opportunities and market segments. And I spent time with snowboarders and cyclists and hikers.
I was going to say, that's where it's going to be super cool.
And I got different responses around what was most critical to them. Cyclists really care deeply about communication real time because they're cycling with their hands on their steering wheel. And so audio is interesting, but more importantly, is as they spread across 200, 300, 400, 500 feet, they had no means to communicating to what's coming or what's happening behind there, except for hands gesture. So communication was critical. When I went out and I spoke to people who did urban environment, like Lime scooter or cycling to the office, there was a combination of the safety of the experience of cycling or riding your Lime scooter without having to have headphones or your phone in your hand. Because you can get direction directly through the Bluetooth, through the audio.
So it's like voice controlled, I'm just saying?
Yeah,
like,
so you basically connect directly to your Bluetooth. So if you're going somewhere and you put that you're getting your voice direction, it goes directly into your speakers. If you think about the Uber Eats and the DoorDash couriers who are all day long with their phones like this and looking down and looking up and writing with one hand, there's tremendous amounts of urban mobility as well as outdoor sports activity use cases. For safety, we have LED lights on the product, we have GPS tracker, we have 8 gigabytes of memory, so if you want to download content and not carry your phone. And we're embedding 3 technologies in a new form factor, which are Bluetooth audio, real-time communication through walkie-talkie as well as software, and micro camera. And all these use cases coming together allows for either security at a stadium to have a utility device that is synchronous across all 200-300 people who do security at a stadium. If you think about the TSA, if you think about Universal amusement parks, but then if you think about the snowboarder and the hiker and the cyclist, all these use cases are about safety, practical use case, and being hands-free.
Yeah.
And that's what the device has created.
That was what wireless was supposed to be, remember? Untethered?
Yes.
Not looking
That's right.
for a place to plug it in.
The second highest death toll rate in urban cities after phones are headphones. I mean, progressively right now
are the immersive experience.
Yes, if you can't hear what's around you, it's like being blind.
Yeah,
we see both a huge value on the safety side when we speak to runners who are running at night. They don't want to wear headphones. If you think about the GPS tracker, you can have this on your kid who's 14. He's at the playground, skateboard park. Anytime you would know where he is while he's communicating with his buddies. And so there are multi-purpose use cases to that, but it comes down to mobility and being hands-free while engaging with these essential technologies. And cameras, if you think about your Uber driver, if you think about the airport, if you think about the corner street, they're becoming prevalent to our lives, at your home, in your kid's bedroom, in front of your door. So there's an essential kind of reality around most of the content on the internet today is captured real time through camera. Right. Not necessarily with your GoPro that costs you $350, and if you forgot it, then nothing happens to the content you want to produce. But there's a world of non-production that is real time every day. And so we're able to embed all this into a price-sensitive product that is easy. It only weighs 8 ounces.
So people are going to be saying, this is awesome, right, Wilson? So when and where and how do I get it?
So we're going live this summer.
Okay.
And you know, I launched the company just 4 months ago.
Okay.
So it's a fairly quick turnaround. We have offices in Seoul and manufacturing in China and development software in San Francisco and headquarters in New York. So once again, I went very global. But we're releasing 3 SKUs this summer of the product. And we'll go direct consumer online or B2B directly to partners like Uber Eats or Postmates.
I will definitely be watching for that. And that fits so beautifully with your interest in creation from day one from PicsArt, right?
Yeah, I happen to be an extreme sport athlete, so
Okay.
I do a lot of heli skiing, backcountry skiing, marathon running. I also skeleton race on ice tracks, on the Olympic track.
So you've been testing this stuff.
I have been testing it for a little while, yeah. And you know, and it also allowed for me to test it in real live use cases, of which we did a lot of live surveys and testing around, because I had access to those communities.
Yeah.
And it really gave me a good sense of both on the design and comfort beyond just the technology, where we needed to be able to go live and release a product people would be excited about buying.
I have to say, what I really love about what you do is you do that. You tap from the community. You did that at PicsArt. You know, you're connecting because you get it. Because if the community is on board, they're going to continue to innovate with you, and they're going to be your advocates.
Yeah.
And what could be better than that?
Yeah, our biggest immediate approach in the short term in April was that we're going to be engaging what I would consider to be micro-influencers, non-professionals who aren't making a living yet, being paid to do this, and providing them the product and actually producing content for them and amplifying them and their use case, and whether they're snowboarders or skateboarders or cyclists. When you think about people who have 50, 60,000 communities who aren't doing this professionally, that means that they have a really strong avid follower base. I mean, that's not a small amount of people who are passionate towards you being a cyclist specifically. And so there's tremendous amount of power in that to tap into that you don't have to pay for. I mean, I could go to a celebrity and say, I will give you 2% of my company and pay you X amount for you to endorse this. But you know, brand ambassadors are only as valuable as the real messaging they have to that core.
Yeah.
And so you can go to somebody who has 100 million followers, but which percentage of that user base is really interested and really care about that particular use case?
That's
and so
the thing. Has
we're
to
taking
be authentic.
an authentic, organic approach, and we're proliferating these individuals and elevating them. And in that, we're able to showcase the use case and showcase the fact that they're choosing to use it. We're not paying them to do that. A friend of mine, his mother, has a 14-year-old son who's becoming semi-pro, and she's like, he would love to be sponsored. And I said, well, I'm not going to sponsor your kid. I'm sure you can find Thrasher or some other brand to sponsor him. I'm like, because if I have to pay him to wear this on the playground, he will tell his friend that I paid him, because that's cool to get paid to do something. Yeah. But it's not cool to be that company that pays you.
Yes.
And so for him to wear it because he wants to and to be the only one for the next 6 months to have it, that's cool. And for me to produce a lot of content around that and to help him grow his follower base, that's cool. But if I have to pay him to do something that's supposed to be cool, we've missed on our job. And so it is very much about, again, grasping the community, trying to create an organic, authentic, bottoms-up approach to consumption usage. And we can track the usage, and we have a mobile app that complements that with curated content, aggregating APIs from Strava and Garmin. And so if you're a snowboarder or if you're a cyclist, you can get specific content, specific data, as well as the actual data of the harness.
So it sounds to me as if you've got, you know, it all nailed down. You've done something amazing in the marketing, I have to say, at PicsArt, and I'm sure I'll have you back again to tell us how you're marketing this.
I appreciate having you
absolutely, Wilson.
here as well.
Awesome.
I appreciate being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you.